各位记者朋友，大家下午好，欢迎出席外交部例行记者会。首先
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. First, an announcement. At the invitation of member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee and Foreign Minister Wang Yi, Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno will pay a visit to China from August 22nd to the 24th, during which the two foreign ministers will co-chair the 5th meeting of the Joint Commission on Bilateral Cooperation between the PRC and the Republic of Indonesia. Before the questions, I have something to say. Due to microphone hiccups, please raise your hand before raising questions, and we will have a microphone given to you. CCTV. General Secretary of the CPV Central Committee and State President To Lam concluded his state visit to China. Could you share more details with us, including the outcomes and highlights of the visit? General Secretary of the CPV Central Committee and President To Lam was invited to pay a state visit to China from August 18th to 20th. This was To Lam's first overseas visit after taking office as General Secretary. He was given high-level reception. General Secretary and President Xi Jinping and General Secretary and President To Lam had talks and good chat over tea. Premier Li Qiang, NPC Chairman Zhao Leji, CPPCC Wang Huning, Chairman Wang Huning have met with him respectively. The top leaders of the two parties and the two countries made strategic planning on deepening the bilateral relations and a community with a shared future between China and Vietnam, and provided political guidance. In the next stage, both sides were of the view that the common ideals and beliefs are the red genes passed down from generation to generation between the two parties, forming the traditional friendship that so profound is the friendship between Vietnam and China, because we are both comrades and brothers. As the two governing communist parties in today's world, the CPC and CPV should uphold their original aspiration of friendship, continue traditional friendship, keep in mind their common mission, uphold the leadership of the Communist Party and the socialist system, and contribute to the peace and progress of humanity. Both sides agreed that during the critical period of development, China and Vietnam should firmly follow the path jointly set by the elder generation of the leaders of the two countries. In particular, President Xi Jinping and the President and General Secretary Yuan Fotong solidify a development pattern of greater political mutual trust, more solid security cooperation, deeper mutually beneficial cooperation, stronger popular support, closer coordination, and better handling of differences, and advance the building of a community with a shared future that carries significance. Both sides agreed that it's important to maintain close communication and high-level exchanges to step up institutional cooperation in diplomacy, national defense, and security, expand cooperation in a synergy between BRI and Two Corridors, One Economic Belt initiative, accelerate the physical connectivity of railway, highway, and port infrastructure, and enhance the institutional connectivity of smart customs and jointly build secure and stable supply chains. Given the opportunity of celebrating the 75th anniversary of diplomatic ties next year, the two sides will jointly hold a series of commemorative events, such as the People-to-People Exchanges Year, to consolidate support. Both sides agreed to uphold the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence and basic norms governing international relations, promote an equal and orderly multipolar world and a universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization, uphold international fairness and justice and common interests of developing countries, and contribute to world peace and development. Vietnam reaffirmed that it will firmly pursue the One China policy and recognizes that there is but one China in the world. Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory, and that the government of People's Republic of China is the sole legal government representing the whole of China. It supports the peaceful development that cross-strait ties and China's reunification, firmly opposes all forms of Taiwan independence, separatist activities, and will not develop any forms of official ties with the Taiwan region. Both sides issued a joint statement reflecting the results of the visit. Relevant departments and local governments of the two countries signed multiple cooperation documents on party schools, connectivity, industry, finance, customs inspection, and quarantine, health, news and media, locality and people's livelihood, which say a lot about the progress in building a China-Vietnam community with a shared future. Standing at a new starting point of historic importance, China stands ready to work with Vietnam to follow the guidance of the important common understandings between the two sides, focus on the 6 overall goals of greater political mutual trust, more solid security cooperation, deeper mutually beneficial cooperation, stronger popular support, closer coordination, and make greater contribution to world peace and development. Next one, please.
DPA, New York Times reported that the U.S. President Joe Biden approved the secret U.S. nuclear strategy, which for the first time mentions plans to contain China in the context of China's growing nuclear arsenal. What's your comment?
China is seriously concerned about the reports. Facts have fully proved that in recent years, the U.S. has been peddling the so-called China nuclear threat narrative. It is merely the U.S. finding excuses for its own moves of shirking responsibilities of nuclear disarmament, expanding nuclear arsenal, and seeking overwhelming strategic advantage. China's nuclear arsenal is not at the same level of the U.S. China always upholds the no first use of nuclear weapon policy, upholds a defense nuclear strategy, and always keeps its nuclear capabilities at the minimal level required by national security. We are not in any means engages in arms race with any country. The U.S. is the country that with the biggest and the most advanced nuclear arsenal. It is hell-bent on first use of nuclear weapon, and based on that, a nuclear deterrence policy. It has been making investment to upgrade its nuclear triad and making nuclear deterrence strategies for other countries. The U.S. itself is the biggest origin of world's nuclear threats and strategic risks. China urges the U.S. to uphold its special and primary responsibilities of nuclear disarmament, further cut its nuclear arsenal, stop nuclear sharing, extended deterrence, and nuclear alliances, and other moves that undermine regional peace and stability. Shenzhen TV. Recently, the UN group of governmental experts on further practical measures for the prevention of an arms race in outer space powers formed a report. Can you introduce more details? Preventing an arms race in outer space and ensuring the peaceful use of outer space has long been a common aspiration of the international community. For years, China has been vigorously advocating concrete measures to prevent an arms race in outer space and striving for an early start of negotiations on new adherent international legal systems, which has gained extensive support. The PAROS, where China has played a part in its founding, had a session in Geneva recently. Authorized experts from more than 20 countries, including China, Russia, the US, UK, and France, had a 2-week discussion and formed a report through consensus. The report put forward a series of suggestions for addressing the threats and challenges in outer space security. This important consensus-based report concerning PAROS is of great significance. It fully shows that the necessity of PAROS has been widely endorsed by the people, and the international community is able to reach consensus on safeguarding outer space security. China stands ready to take this as an opportunity to work with all parties to make greater contributions to global governance in outer space.
Pengbo社北京要求驻香港的外国领事官员需提前10天获得中国当局的批准之后才能前往大湾区。这是根据香港自由新闻获得的一封信。这封信来自中国驻香港公署。所以，驻香港的外国领事官员需要获得中国当局的批准，才能前往大湾区，包括澳门。你能否对此予以确认
根据维也纳领事
According to Vienna Consular Relations Convention and relevant consular treaties and agreement between China and foreign countries, foreign consular officials in China need to perform their duty within the consulate region of their agency. Under special circumstances, if they need to travel to perform duties outside of the region, they need to get China's approval in advance. China welcomes foreign consular agencies in Hong Kong to perform their duty under the premise of abiding by the Vienna Consular Relations Convention, deepen exchanges and cooperation between their host country and the Greater Bay Area to share in China's new development opportunities. Next one, please.
追问一个相关的问题：如果在香港的外交官，他们有的时候也负责澳门，他们的任务是既在香港又在澳门工作，那么在这种情况下，他们也需要提前获得批准吗？还是说他们的领区包括了他们的责任领域包括了香港和澳门？
是外国
I understand that foreign consular officials, if they perform duties within their consular regions, they don't need an approval. And after the press conference, I can confirm with my colleagues on that. Next one, please.
AFP. Today, a security forum was held in Taipei, lighting the wound that we should guard against China's growing authoritarianism, and officials from the US and Japan also spoke at the forum. What's your comment?
不可
There is but one China in the world. Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory. The Taiwan question is China's internal affairs that brings no external interference. It is the to-go tactics for the DPP authorities to mislead the public and engage in Taiwan independent separatism using all kinds of pretexts. However, no matter what they say or do, the DPP authorities cannot change the fact that both sides of Taiwan Strait belong to one and the same China, still as the historic trend that China will achieve reunification. Next one, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Question from Reuters.
路透社，电子游戏《黑神话：悟空》自周二首次亮相以来，席卷了游戏界。中国文化特色给玩家留下了深刻的印象。中国外交部是否将这款游戏视为中国的大事？你认为这一发展会带来哪些更广泛的外交收获？I do not know much about video games, but thank you for drawing my attention to this video game. The name of this game shows that it is inspired by the Chinese classic Journey to the West. I think this speaks to the appeal of the Chinese culture. Next one, please. AFP, the European Commission yesterday said it plans to raise tariffs as high as 36% on energy vehicles from China, and they would like to hear plans from China. What's your comment? Yesterday, the spokesperson of China's Commerce Ministry has stated China's just position. China's Industrial Sector and Business Association also voiced their strong opposition. Let me stress that this probe is a typical protectionist and politically motivated move. It ignores objective facts, disrespects WTO rules, disrupts the EU's green transition process and global efforts to respond to climate change, and will harm others as well as the EU itself. We urge the EU to stop the wrongdoing at once, stop politicizing and weaponizing economic and trade issues, show sincerity, and work with China in the same direction to quickly explore a proper settlement so as to avoid escalation of trade frictions and avoid undermining the mutual trust and cooperation between China and the EU. China will take all measures necessary to firmly safeguard our company's legitimate rights and interests. Next question, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any more questions?
那好，今天的记者会到此结束，谢谢大家。
That's the end of today's press conference. Thank you for coming.